Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, checking in with part 3 of my late October weekly garden tour. I'm standing here at the persimmon arbor. These are not quite ripe, but this is Nikita's gift. I've been slowly eating some. I'm sure that I'm also sharing plenty with birds and other local mammals. It's been a really great year for harvest, and if I wasn't going out of town tomorrow, I would probably be more ambitious in harvesting a lot and doing something to preserve them, but that's not going to be my reality this year. But I am so excited to show you everything that is growing here in my Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina gardens. So without further ado, let me turn this camera around. Well, most notably here, the Neolitsia sericea, a great broadleaf evergreen tree native to Asia, is in full bloom. And it smells wonderful. It's kind of lemony, and you can see the flowers are all over the plant. It's just spectacular right now. And I know it's kind of an oddball plant. You're never gonna find this at Lowe's or Home Depot, but if you live in zone 7 to 9 and want a tree that would be good for evergreen screening, Neolitsia is a really great option. You can see how tall it is. This was planted as a 1 gallon back in 2011. So that gives you an idea of how fast it grows. And of course, next to it is Osmanthus fragrans. And oddly enough, this side is all basically finished blooming, which is the north side of the plant. But then you walk over here around the corner and the south side is in full flower now. And that is great because this is the most wonderful fragrance of all time. And it's just something that everybody should get to experience at least once in their life. Again, this is hardy in zones 7 to 9. This is the fragrant tea olive. This is variety Aurantiacus. And it really is such a special plant with these incredible fragrant flowers. Well, this south side border is looking a little bit rough because it's so dry. You can see that poor basil is very wilted, and we've had some temperatures in the low 40s, and that's impacting the coleus. But the Kufia just get more intensely colored with the cooler weather. I did move some of the succulents around, and of course the candy corn Kufia is always covered in bees, especially during the bright sunny afternoons. But lots of bee activity even now as the daylight starts to dim. Kufia, if you're not growing it, you need to. It is such a terrific plant. And here in, central North Carolina, this has actually been hardy. Now this is a very warm microclimate, being house adjacent, south facing. I was expecting it to be annual, which is why I planted it where I did. And it's obviously a lot larger than I would have imagined it would be, but it's been hardy. I think we're going into maybe year 6 now that it's been reliably perennial. And more of that bat face Kufia. I love this plant. It's hard to say such and such is my favorite plant, but this consistently all summer long has just impressed me to the point of no return. And I just think it is the cutest thing, and I really like the purple and red combination. And I like it with strawberries poking up through it. You guys, I still have not dealt with the rice. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why I haven't done it. I've had so much computer work to do. But I think I see it like this and I just get very unmotivated. But there's tons of seed. I need to harvest it, and I'm not going to get to it until I get back from Tulsa. Yeah, I can't help it. Oh, I should have done it several weeks ago, but I didn't. So there you have it. All the driveway pots are looking a little bit past their prime, and that's okay because it's about time to get things harvested. Even the curcuma and the ginger are ready to be cut back, pulled out, and then we can start eating them. So I'm very excited to have a little more time at home. to be able to actually garden, because I really haven't had that at all this entire month. And I don't really feel like myself when I don't get to spend quality time interacting and like doing stuff with the plants. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to just take it in stride. This probably like sounds like a self-help video. The coleus in the wall look pretty good. They're starting to defoliate, and that's from cool temperatures. Not a big deal. Those will all get pulled out, and I will decide what will happen. More likely than not, I'm only going to keep one side planted for the winter. And then I can always plant the other side at some point, but I don't think I'm going to get this side immediately replanted. I will probably reorient the wall, move it because it's on wheels, so it's really easy to do, and kind of simplify this area for November, December, January when we do the house transitions. I will say I am so impressed with the salvia that I got from Jenks Farmer, and commonly it's sold as sage. Jenks Farmer is an edible sage that, again, I'm going to do more drying of herbs. That begonia has just been awesome. All the plants here in the shade look a lot better than I would have expected. And, well, the front border is just big and bold and bodacious. The castor beans are setting a lot of seed, and it is time for me to start collecting them. Again, not going to be home, so this is how they self-sow in my garden because I travel too much. The cleome is definitely over, and I kind of wish I would have just cut it back about a month ago so it just wouldn't show up. I mean, it's not worth the effort now, but without it, I think the border would look a bit better. But I really enjoyed that cleome for all of the summer season, so it's worth growing, but it's good to recognize that one could actually get pulled out like in September, and then the other plants would fill in the gap and you wouldn't have this kind of scruffy looking remnants. The Wicked Witch coleus is just starting to flower. This is a great example of coleus that was bred to bloom with short days. So I really wasn't having to do much maintenance on this all summer, cutting the flowers back. You can see how robust it grew. Spectacular plant. It's very dry. You can see it's looking a bit wilty. It's because I have not been watering this border at all. I have, however, been watering the wave because I want these cool season vegetables to at least have a fighting chance to get established. But I swear the wave has just been one challenge after another, and it is predominantly because of the extreme seasonal dryness. We were extremely dry in June, we're extremely dry in October, and without water, the plants just don't really do anything. They're not dead, but they're not growing. And it's not a fertility issue, it's not a soil issue, it's a watering issue. And I left this water run for 3 hours yesterday. Let's see if there's any moisture in the ground at all. There is. Okay, look at that. So my allowing the sprinkler to run for so long is actually providing some very necessary moisture for these poor plants to be able to thrive and actually get a good drink from. Well, late October is definitely when the chrysanthemums start to come into bloom. And even though these are in so much shade, basically full shade, they are still flowering. And I really appreciate them for this ultimate dry, no maintenance ground cover that they provide. And you see there's a lot of different varieties. They're all wonderful and floating flower arrangements. And to be honest, the main reason I want to deal with that rice is so that I have more vessels to make floating flower arrangements in. So that is number one priority for next week when I get home, so that we will have beautiful floating flowers for the wedding. Well, everybody, I hope that this edition of my late October weekly garden tour will serve as inspiration, and hope you'll tune in tomorrow to see the beautiful front gardens next door in the native borders. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.